So once again, so we in this program of Genius himself have kind of convinced ourselves that the entire universe is but a process, a huge process containing countless other processes. And we also accepted the possibility that there cannot be a process without an intent. Because there must be a factor, possibly one factor, or one core factor with the assistance of two linkages. Because we believe in the trinity of the core of everything. Because without such an intent, how can the components be set together? How can the elements be chosen? How can they get transformed into some state from where again process would continue? From where again process would continue meaning, like we have taken a very simple example of our controlled cooking of a cup of plain tea, and it is cooked, and if you just leave it like that, of course again process will continue. You can imagine the teapot there, and one day, 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, what will happen to that kettle? Contents of the kettle. I think within 1 month everything will get vaporized, so-called. Then another process. Alright, okay, if that is the situation, what about the mysterious processes experienced by human beings? Like Nitya talked about the dream. A beautiful example. Okay? Normally when human beings talk about dreams, a certain specific set of dreams or a single dream, so-called a single dream with a lot of perplexing configuration of factors and scenes and imageries and understandings rendered to us without communication and so on and so forth. Okay. But according to theory, entire sleep is a state of dreaming only, but whatever is in the contents of the state of dim consciousness, near to our wakefulness, if its wakefulness line is there, whatever be the contents near that wakefulness boundary will be perceived by the partly conscious sleeping person as something, and which is called a dream. Definitely, if we look into dreams, there cannot be an intent in the way we understand intent. Because because for all our rational, intuitive perception, the contents of the dream are such that there are often no logic for the contents or the components or the contents or the processes or the details of the dream. Is it because it is a part of the ongoing dream of the mind, which was revealed when consciousness has come to a little wakefulness level? Or is it a particular dream? It is very likely to be that only. What? A series of ongoing processes, a part of which was revealed to the state of sleeping consciousness. But even then, can there be an intent for a dream? One. Two, can you intend a dream? That question also is very relevant because there is dreaming as a process which you can do by your conscious will. I don't know now, but in the past there have been training programs in dreaming, even in India. I remember one person, what is his name? Last name is Francis. He was the director of Tata Management Training Center in 1 Mangaldas Road, Pune. I have been there.
Josie?
No. The director was an Anglo-Indian kind of a person, very well known. I don't get that name right now. Francis Meneses, yes, Dr. Francis Meneses. And then I had a few words with him. He knew me when we met at Excelare, Jamshedpur. And he invited me for a session and all that. So I traveled all the way to Pune. And then participating in one session, I got an idea about how to do it. And then after about 5, 6, 7 years, when I got some free time at Missouri, I tried it and I was successful. So anyway, that's all part of the story. What I mean to say is that is there an intent for a dream, or can you intend a dream? If dream is a process, everything is a process. Their body is an ongoing organic universe of processes that we discussed last time also. If dream is an ongoing process of the body, why can't you think of trying to get some access to that? Because what is dreaming? Or what is a dream? Dream is something that you see 100% clearly. You can hear sounds and you can feel touch, you can get smell, all the senses working without any active role of the sense organs. That is the mystery and the magnificence and the magic of dreams. And it is possible with almost everyone. See? Because everyone dreams. Like nobody talks a child, why don't you get trained in dreams? And they don't know how to do that either. Therefore, almost 99.99999 whatever percentage of people are not capable of dreaming by their intention or intent. But as you understand process setting, components and elements and the driving energy and the setting and so on and so forth, try for that, because you can see a lot of places, you can understand a lot of mysteries, you can comprehend a great lot of details of the universe by dreaming. By that process of dreaming, you can go to a so-called past birth. I don't know whether it is past birth or not. Anyway, you can go to distant time, space locations where you can solidly feel that you were there, and that was when you come back and refer to history, you know that there was such and such a place and people. I am talking about what I had experienced many times. So, and you get answers, you get many things, and whatever you do, your entire cerebral cortex get trained, and it will have its generalized effects in whatever else you do. Like, why do you participate in this program? Not to memorize everything, not to recollect everything, not to by heart anything, but just sitting at this kind of a unique moment of our brain process time, especially the right brain process time, when you listen to this level of concepts, which are subtlest of most of the kind, parallelly there will be some consequential effects in the brain. You know, the reverse of handwriting analysis. You know, by changing the signature, you can change the entire life of some people. There will be some change. Because the brain network which is in charge of signature gets altered, and that alteration, though if it is in the signature, or though it is only in the signature, that alteration process generates its own electrical field elsewhere, and you have corresponding changes. If that is the case, when you listen to this kind of, when your attention goes to the reference and the referent realities of whatever terms we use in our discussions, the resultant experiences that matters. And also an assortment of concepts which will come to you when you want to talk about the same in some future point of time. So I just mentioned, because whatever I wanted, I got a clear beginning. I did not ask what happened and all that. Nitya by herself talked about a dream.
And
What?
it helped me to not to use the alarm, sir. That was surprising because I woke up. I had an alarm for 1:59 to wake up, but when I woke up, it was 1:55. So I just turned off the alarm. It didn't have to go. So that was
Oh, beautiful.
yeah.
So what was that intent by which she had that dream and by which she got up? And when she got up on time, I have heard at least 5 or 6 people telling me during interviews that I don't have to set an alarm. I then questioned them, whatever be the time, he said yes, or they said yes. If you want to get up at 1:30 to dress up for a train, whatever it is, I get up exactly at 1:30. Uh, and some other time, if I wanted to get up at 4:30, I would get exactly at 4:30. And what about that 1:30? Normally it is my deep sleep time. So that's the answer. So they have somehow got themselves unknowingly trained in all those competencies. So uh, what I mean to say that there is a lot more to discover within the available schedule of processes in your own entity, and dreaming is just one of them. Some people automatically develop, coincidentally develop. Our Christabel here is a very unique person with that kind of mysterious contacts with strange entities.
Places, colors.
So, what was that intent? One or two incidents she narrated. If you look at that incident, what was the intent behind her getting revealed to that experience or getting exposed to that? Okay, if that was not an intent of hers, then it was the intent of whom or what? Intent need not be about human beings, okay? Objects also would have its intents. For example, you right now see a strange material on your table, that will that becomes your intent. That becomes an intent for you to think about it and wonder, oh my God, I had kept it somewhere else and it is right now on the table, for example. Every action, every expression, every response, every behavior, every unit of relation with others, every unit of language is by an intent. Wonder, go on wondering, how do you talk? Just imagine, how do you talk? At time 0, let us say full stop of the previous sentence. At time 0.1, are you really planning the syntax of the next sentence and then delivering it? No. Even before uttering of it, it automatically comes to you. It's a clear unfolding of properly structured sentence. That millisecond intent of the part of idea kept in your mind is generating that sentence or sentences so beautifully because you got trained in that anyway. Or during talking, why somebody is suddenly changing the topic and talking something else? See? That's why I told you very clearly last time, try to see everything from a process perspective. And I would like to define, if somebody ask me to define a genius, I would say genius is nothing but a state of mind characterized by process perspective. That's all. That's enough. What more? You see the intent of almost every unit of whatever you want to observe. And when you understand the intent, you will also know the entire process. Vinay. That's why I talked about the intent of a sentence. At time 0.1 you have the intents of a sentence and subsequently for another 2 minutes you talk about the same idea.
So may I interrupt?
Yes
I have
please,
a
yes
quick
please,
doubt.
yes please.
This is going back to dreams and dreaming. So in my case, I can go backwards and see places and people from probably what I also believe are past lives, but I can also go forward. So what is the intent there? So things that are going to happen, it has happened innumerable times. Even I think Vinay can testify. I will have a very vivid dream and it will come true right down to like the
Really.
detail.
I'm mystified by what Christabel said. And I am so surprised about the possibility of her willpower to withstand the strength of such experiences. Oh, she is a extraordinary spirit. Because if it is the past, it's okay. And to see the future and then remain cool is a tough job. I don't know how she is managing.
So where does intent, how does that work? Because I had no intention of knowing
Now,
what the future is.
by the way,
It's not even something that I can control, it just happens.
by the way, Crystal, that question was only in connection with an academic discussion of process. The purpose is actually not to know the intent or to have the intent. Purpose is actually to develop an intent to do things like what you do. But here you said, like in a dream, it happens to you, right?
Yes.
It occurs to you. Yeah.
Yes.
And that is enough. Now, when you get access to the intents of that domain, that dimension, that could be potentially more risky. So that is what the ancient great seers did, especially a great number of females in France. If you look into the history of France, you can see not a great number, meaning almost close to lack of wonderful females who could see the future and predicted it. And that time, I don't know whatever revolution happened, and they all looked at this kind of unique females as a powerful threat for them, and they attributed all kinds of things, and they said it is the spirit of the devil operating in them, and they named them with the English word witch, and the great witch, the so-called great witch hunt. They just identified all those people and brutally killed them. Because it is terrible even for somebody to imagine that they can know the future. That's why I said I appreciate the powerful spirit of Crucible, that she is able to manage it.
Sundarji, I also had seen.
Yeah, wonderful. All right, good. Develop it. That's what I have been telling. Everybody dreams, and dream is such a wonderful sensation, sensitivity, but you can see things of all ranges and possibilities and orbits, and nobody develops it. It can be developed because it is there.
So
similarly, if you have those kind of experiences which Krishabal said, wonderful, Sarah. That's why perhaps
you have predicted the sentences, the statements
of somebody,
crystal clear sentences
of somebody else.
My brothers.
Okay,
I sent a message 3 weeks. I hope you remember.
Okay.
Lot of things happened before, even positive, both positive and negative.
And don't categorize it into positive and negative, which you are very easily susceptible to. Then you are likely to be in potentially dangerous situations of anxiety and fear and all that. So, but you will develop the power also. Be powerful. That's why you become powerful. Living in comfort zones, people may feel very confident and happy about them, but they are never being tested. Okay, they are driving in the main road. But driving in the dangerous road, meaning it may be tough in the beginning, but you develop the competency also to do that. So do that. After all, only one life. Why do you waste it with repetition of ordinary things that you do? So, for example, Vivek, you develop those levels of mysterious powers, Vivek. There is no sense in you becoming one of the thousands of so-called lawyers in the country, okay? Then you don't have to be here in this program. Somehow you have developed the intent to become a great lawyer. That's why you went up to LLM. You could have gone to many other courses, being the only one son of highly educated parents. I'm sure you must have been given so many directions and kind of academic career you wanted to, but still you chose what you love to do. So what is it? What is the intent behind your own certain doings? Why do you like somebody? Like ask me, why did you marry a certain person? Why did you not marry a certain person? So these are all 2, 3 of the millions of questions we can ask about intents in our human life. Perhaps human beings are great only because of the possibility of such a diversity of intents they can get exposed to, of other people's intents, or one's own intents. If you look at the intent, like what about the intent of Jesus? What was the intent of Buddha? What was the intent of Shiva or Krishna or Vivekananda or J. Krishnamurti or Ramana Maharshi or such supreme human beings? So-called supreme human beings.
Hours.
I said so-called. There is ultimately not a least difference between your body and that body, fundamentally. But what they have tried, what they happen to try at this level so intense. Even now I have discussed with people who say what Jesus did are all just fake stories. No, he could definitely make 5 loaves of bread into 50 million. He can walk not on the ocean, he can walk on the air if he wanted to. No doubt about that. I am extremely convinced about that, especially after reading the 3rd chapter of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which straight away talks about whatever Jesus did. Of course, we will be referring to some of the critical verses, VRSVS, of chapter 3, titled Expansion in English language. This is, I would say, there are maybe some 50, 60 translations of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. This book I must have shown you before also. This one is the most simple and the most authentic, because there are not much of explanations and needless commentaries. Can you see it? No.
Not fully,
Okay,
sir.
all right, okay. Okay, yeah? Yeah. Can you see it? Patanjali Yoga Sutra.
Your
It is.
background is blurred, so we
Yeah,
can't
that's
see.
okay, no problem. Anyway, you can perhaps get it in. No, there's no need of getting it. We will discuss the central points. All right, in the process of. So that is the possibility of intents. How you test your intents just like that, without karmane vadhigaraste mafaleshu kadajana. That means without anticipating or expecting the results, just do that karma, do that process of doing, experimenting with your being, and so that you become great. You become great in whatever you do, and after you are doing great in the doing of your being. I use the word great. Okay, forget about genius himself. I told you all the time. It is just explanatory to the methodology or the road to greatness. Greatness is something which you can easily comprehend, because that's a concept, knowingly or unknowingly, we have been exposed, especially as reading educated individuals many a times with a lot of people. So, what is that intent which Christabel talks about, which Sarah talks about? Okay, so that is by way of just talking about it. The purpose is not to identify the intent. I started with that question, which is applicable, because if you want to get into control of dreaming, control of seeing, SWING, what Christabel talks about is seeing, and above mystics there is a variety of people called seers, if you have heard about them, SWR. They can see. Mystics comprehend and perceive. The seers, I don't know how many people are really described with that words, but anyway, seeing is possible. Evidence is the dream that you can see, you can touch, you can feel, you can smell without the participation of the sense organs. Just imagine. So why don't you experiment with that? Not even to do that. As I told you, when you change just a part of your signature, if your entire mindset of certain things can be changed because of the neuronal electrical induction, network induction. If a certain part of the neurons get exercised here, its induction currents may be going here and there, etc., etc. So when you experiment with it, even though you never succeed, there will be various resultant residual outcomes. We talked about process. We talked about the process of tea in more or less detail. Not complete details at all, no doubt, Sarah. Did we refer to the residue of the tea? No? Along with the making of the tea, there is a residue, RESIDUE, which is of course thrown away most of the time.
Yes.
That's a kind of a byproduct, outcome of a process. So for every process, there is a residual process. That's why it is told, do not do anything unethical. Because that unethical act might have given a cup of tea, cup of gold maybe. But there could be other residual consequences. Like the sieved tea, it just cannot be thrown away into wilderness. It will be retained in various time, space, locations. In fact, where is it? So, I am reading certain parts out of the chapter section on expansion as it comes into context, okay? When I talked about residual, yeah, 22. Section 3, verse 22. The fruits of an action may return to the doer quickly or slowly. Just to talk about it. Alright, now, I think reflect for a moment about the dreaming and look at, for example, my intent to talk about the mysterious intents. Okay? Even without my introducing the concept, Nitya, without asking, she talked about her dream today, Vinay. I did not ask her. She just like that said her dream. What was the intent of that? What is the time, space, location of that intent? Where she quoted something which is quite connected with the process of the theme planned for the day. See? I was even a little bit secretly worried in a corner of my mind whether you would think that I talked about dream because Nitya said it. No. Because evidence is the title of the discussion itself, the mystery of intent. Yes. So, going straight to the chapter on expansion, there's an English word. In that context only I showed that book. It is a translation of Patanjali Yoga Sutra by a genius by name Alistair Shearer. Alistair. I don't know whether this particular edition is available in the market at all because this is a 1989 first India edition. With a beautiful, equally sutra level black and white photography by a world-class photographer by name Richard Lanoy. And there's a preface by the photographer himself about his conviction that every picture is representing one or the other part of the Yoga Sutra. I have gone through those photographs hundreds of times. Oh. Hundreds of times to identify on what basis Richard Leno is talking like this. That every photograph is one way or the other a symbolic representation of the sutras of Patanjali. Okay. Oh, umpteen number of times. Whatever it be. So anyway, the topic is titled or translated into more or less correct English word, because I know what is the original Sanskrit word, meaning expansion, E-X-P-A-N-S-I-O-N, expansion. Is it visible?
It's blurred, sir. Yeah, expansion word we can see.
Okay.
3, chapter 3.
Yeah. Expansion, is it visible now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's about expansion, and I would say that is the most critical chapter in the entire Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And I want to get your attention on certain what you call mysterious domains or dimensions or orbits, simple to come, of processes. So that's the way to approach it. I'm sure, because everything is a process. Meditation is a process. Prayer is a process. What you call pranayama is a process. Because without process, nothing can exist. Rather, not a single thing in the universe is in a frozen, non-active state. Even a piece of diamond, do you know about subatomic particles? They're all in movements, they're all in processes. So there is no real so-called dead condition anywhere in the universe possible. Because matter and energy, matter is energy, energy is matter, both energy cannot be destroyed. Therefore, you will, or we will refer to some of the critical verses, critical verses of the centermost or the principal focus of the entire Patanjali Yoga Sutra. There's a chapter 4 by name Enlightenment. No, that is not the critical chapter. That's what everybody thinks. No. The process required for the experience or the outcome of enlightenment, the process required for the tea of enlightenment, or the shanoyu, Japanese tea ceremony, okay? Nothing but a conscious experiment on process. The essence of shanoyu is to get satori, and they are doing their meditation is on every detail of the setting, the movements, the components, the elements, and the ways of their transformation and output. That's why an hour's sadhana would take about 2 to 3.5 hours even. Tea ceremony. So, expansion is about the tea ceremony. Expansion is about the shanayu of the human totality, where the human entity is cooking the cup of the unique tea of his being. To get a taste of that being, okay. To get into the what other spiritual literature talk about, to get the elixir of nirvanic state. And that's all. Actually, I am not that much fascinated about because of certain aspects. Coming back, expansion. So even our program on genius and self, or our program on developing process perspective, or our sessions on developing the competency and the mind setting to see everything within and without us, nothing but processes. Okay? Yeah, nothing but processes. So expansion. What is the concept or what is the mental impression you get with that English word expansion? Yeah. Come on, give examples of expansion.
A rubber band
Okay,
expanding.
Go on, go on.
A balloon.
Yeah, okay, beautiful. Building expanding, yes.
Expansion of height.
Hmm?
Expansion of ideas from the
Yeah,
existing
yeah,
focus.
yes. Expansion of territories. Okay.
Yes.
Expansion of the capacities of various technologies.
Growth might be a synonym.
Yeah. Growth involves expansion, of course, without which no growth is possible, I suppose. Or whatever, growth is just another name for the process of expansion happening in matter or energy or idea or whatever. So when you look at everything as a process, when you look at expansion, what is that process? Come on. What is that process?
Expansion.
Yeah, process. In that process, what is happening? Yeah, one we may already implied. Certain things within the contents of wherever that expansion is happening grows in magnitude, in proportion, in character, etc. Right? Right. Like our this session on process perspective is nothing but an attempt to expand your experience of attending to ideas. Because I do believe that it is very unlikely that in the world somebody will be discussing ideas of this configuration at least. Definitely not under this name. No doubt about that. Which we can check nowadays with what you call internet. And I'm sure nobody would be looking at such a practical tool of process perspective, the world. Nobody, because it is my seeing. It is a result. Whatever 90% of whatever I am talking are actually the findings of my seeing only. Especially that started when I get the first experience of the whatever, and secondly when I got a rerun of that experience when I was alone in the mysterious forest in Dehradun and Missouri. So, expansion. And that is very interestingly section 3. You know? And there are only 4 sections in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, I suppose. I never blindly mug up details of a book. Yeah, chapter 4, Enlightenment. It contains, I suppose, 34 verses. Chapter on Enlightenment, okay? And chapter on Expansion, third chapter, contains, so numbered actually, contains 55 verses. So, in that expansion, what kind of expansion Patanjali refers to? Required for reaching that fullness of the human rose. Rose is a rose is a rose. A cat is a cat is a cat. In that case, the full human potential, human entelechy, I would call it. Okay? To reach our human entelechy meaning having the potential and liberating it from the unborn condition. Okay? So, that catness of the human being, that is our purpose, not to go around telling the world or whatever it is. Just to be happy as a cat, as full and completely functioning. What Abraham Maslow, I said last time, what Abraham Maslow, one of the pillars of modern psychology, talks about, fully functioning human being. And you have to define what is the fully functional state of the you. Have you concluded that your evolution, your expansion is complete? No. I think perhaps when the concept of expansion was popularized, like the concept of growth was popularized, little more percentage of people would have been inspired by that, Because growth is a very generic term. What grows, etc., is very confusing, and it is often compared with the growth of a tree or growth of a human body and all those things. Expansion is more stimulating kind of intent. Every word has an intent. Okay, if I go on giving examples of what all things of intent, that will take 1 year. Every word has an intent. That's why when I call you an idiot, you feel. When I say I love you, you feel. When I say I hate you, you feel. And that becomes the intention of the autonomic process of the body, you see. If feeling an emotion of sadness or happiness or thrill or ecstasy or wonder, if that also involves 100% the autonomic process of the body, where is the intent of that? Where is the transcend moment of intent for series of days of depression or permanent happiness or peacefulness and so on and so forth? Just by way it came to my mind, therefore I mentioned. So the topic is expansion. Expansion of the not of the body, but of the mind, intelligence and other mind settings, so that the upper pinnacle of the spirit is touched. Spirit meaning that energy field is touched. The word spirit, body, mind, intellect, intelligence, spirit. Spirit is very funny. Okay? Spirit is the name for liquor also. Spirit is also something very inflammable. Spirit is so powerful that it is capable of giving dynamic movement for something. So there is a definitely an aspect, a singular unified aspect in the entire body which conducts the varied physiological process of the universe, or the human creature, the body. And at that so-called time of death, only that spirit leaves the body. Every other part is still capable of functioning for another maybe 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. The heart is okay, the lungs are okay, the liver is okay, the kidneys are okay, the intestinal canal is okay, sensations are okay, and so on and so forth. But the so-called person is dead. It is not that gradually one tire gets punctured, then another tire punctured, and that takes some 2, 3, 4 days. No. Like the intent, the switch off is momentary. But there may be preceding state and subsequent state. That's a different story. So, expansion. You have to expand. Great lot of scholars became scholars by expanding their reading. Oh, what a level. Vinay is someone like that. I don't know what is the limit of his reading already. He knows a lot of things about a lot of things in the world. I don't understand when he did get the time for that. He was rank holder in his medicine. Then he did his MD. Then he was practicing physician for 24 years and now also fully involved. So time is not the thing. The process competence is important. As I told you, just by reading textbooks for the first time, I was first class, first rank in the university. Alright. So, expansion. So you can expand, just imagine if expansion was a popularized concept, at least another 10% minimum of students in the universities and the schools would have read a great lot of books. I had a girl training here about 3 years back. She was an M.Tech and throughout a distinction, etc., etc. Malayali, okay, Nitya, she did not know who was M.T. Vasudevan Nair, the Jnanapid award-winning writer of Kerala State. Just imagine. So, anyway, expansion. Similarly, way back sometime in 2004 or so, I was addressing a group of at least 500 B.Tech, M.Tech, MS students in IIT Madras in their hall. And in between, I asked a question. Have you read the book Jonathan Livingston Seagull? 500 plus so-called top, academically top guys in the country. And I repeated the question because I expected an yes from at least 10-20 people. Then I again repeated. I said that is one book out of the 5 chosen by New York Times as the top, one of the 5 top books in the world in 20th century. Jonathan Livingston Seagull was one of them. I said this. And you don't know? Then somebody from the back, even now I can see that boy standing up and said, I swear, I think, so I have read it. Then I immediately said, I am sure you have not. Because then you cannot say, I think I have read it. If you have read it, it is unforgettable. Anyway, that is the expansion. Because they don't see the connection. They think whatever is learned, that's enough. Of course, knowing about Jonathan Livingston Seagull or reading Patanjali or reading Tao of Physics or reading Story of Philosophy, the contents have nothing to do with what you do. 100%. Many things which Vinay knows have nothing to do with his profession. But as I told you, everything is stored in neuronal wirings in the central part of this human entity, the cerebral cortex. They are not watertight compartments. Knowledge in physics, extract formula, entire textbook of physics in box number A, then entire chemistry in box number B, then music in box number C. No. It's a unified field where, like a cloud, a unified sky where there are clouds of knowledge. And now they talk about cloud computing, okay? Yeah. So expanding. Nitya also is one of the very voracious readers, very few of voracious readers. In her tough and tight schedule, I think she has read a great lot of top books in the world. Arjun is here, he is still studying, he is from 32 or 33, he is still doing courses, one after the other. I ask you, I don't know how many degrees, how many diplomas, how many certificates he has, I don't know exactly. That is called philosophy, love for knowledge. In the past, the philosophers did only what Arjun does. But unfortunately, I cannot do it because we have to eat food. Great lot of rich people are just wasting their time and especially modern times, they are all whiling away their time and raping their time, like the son of Shah Rukh Khan. Instead of their facility, they could have seen so many wonderful places in the world, interacted with thousands and thousands of people. You just imagine if he goes to any country in the world, he can interact with so many people because they all know Shah Rukh Khan.
It's 22:30.
What would have been his experience had he gone to some 100 countries and interacted with 1 million people? Oh, Nitya, just imagine. That's what partially your son also wanted to do for some time. He went for a long trekking, went and lived with certain tribal people, etc., etc. But everybody just cannot have the luck to do like that because they have to work for eating the food. In the past, the philosophers, most of them were from aristocratic family set up, like Plato or Aristotle or Schopenhauer or in India, Vivekananda or all those people. At least at that time, people would give them food. They will be finding it difficult to restrict actually the offer of food. But in our case, it is not so. Anyway, different thing is that, as I told everyone, Nitya, I only know the ridiculous tightness of her schedule, at least 5 years back. And at that time, she read a great lot of books than now, I suppose, when her schedule is not that tight. And even now, she is sitting at 1:30 or 2:30 in the night. Whereas many who really want to participate in this, they are a little bit blocked by the timing, actually. At least about 5 others. One person who called even today. He is in the US. Timing is not suitable. Anyway, that's not an issue. Come on, we are talking about that inspiration, the intent for expansion. Which is much, much easier than intent for dreaming. And here, of course, the topic of expansion is something else, on the basis of which I gave the title of the session today. The most mysterious kind of processes under potential control of the human, whatever. Because when I say human, then what is that human being? It's a nameless, colorless, odorless entity actually. My beloved master Patanjali. Alright. So, already it is 10:30 already. Yeah. Certain choice is part of. Here let us look into the process of what we are reading. So it is multiple purpose. One is to analytically, intuitively, creatively perceive the process involved. Okay? By which something will happen to you subsequently also. Okay? Definitely. That is the plan. One. It's already an old book. I am very reluctant to use the spectacles. I consider it as a shame to use spectacles. Yeah. I will read three. Perhaps I am the only one in the whole world of interpreters of Patanjali to do like this. The three spokes of whatever we call our power of attention required, the basic requirement. Like the one who wants to climb Mount Everest, first he or she has to practice just wearing the gears, just wearing the boots and walk. Then wearing other tools and walk. It is told that the minimum most weight of the luggage carried by a mountaineer, especially towards the glaciers of Everest, is 48 kilograms. Yeah, Naveen. So, to wear that on the body and to stand comfortably, and to wear that and walk, and then wear that and climb, and then wear that and climb the glaciers. Just imagine. So similarly, this is the primary tool required for expansion of the modality, of the type referred to by the greatest seer of human history called Patanjali. By all evidence, he is the greatest. Because that's the kind of things he reports in the book Patanjali Yoga Sutra, nothing else. I am very sure about it, because I have covered all possible, probable range of literature of this dimension, of all traditions. So, that training involves, let me make it very simple, do not get confused. First, you look at an object, right? You look at an object, okay, a comb.
Yeah.
So, just looking at that object with your attention, or when your attention is focused on an object, he is giving a name. I am against using names, but in this context I am using this name because we may have to refer to this again. That's why names are required anyway, okay? I had to use the word Vinay to talk about him. Naveen to talk about him. I cannot say Vinay, that MBBS, MD, professor, etc., etc. So Vinay immediately conveys. So naming is of great advantage, though mostly it is a great disadvantage. It is like what the Zen Master calls, it is like the stone we need to break open the lock of the gates and then thrown away. So we should be in love with the names or words and should be competent to use the words or the weight of the words to hit open the gates, and we should have the mindset to throw it away also after some time. That is the most difficult part anyway though. So that state of attention focused on an object, he is using a Sanskrit term dharana. Dharana meaning to wear. That is the way I want you to understand dharana. Because dharana, in all other English translations and even in the local translation of that word dharana into Hindi or Tamil or Malayalam, it means comprehending. But actually dharana also can mean to wear. No?
Yes, yeah.
To
To wear.
means like a dress wear.
Yeah, vastram dharichu. Saundharya pattu vastram dharichu avaletti. You must have read it in books, okay? Vastram dharikya. To wear a cloth also is called dharana, okay?
Okay.
So what I mean to say is that is the kind of focusing required. Great lot of people are focusing attention on objects and entities and things and phenomena and ideas and whatnot. But here that attention should almost wear that thing, That means attention should be engrossed, should be covered, should be encapsulated in that object being looked at or thought about. Thought about will come later. So that is dharana. This is about verse number 1. Anyway, I will read out that verse. I will not read out every verse. When attention is held focused on an object, this is known as dharana. Dharana is written in English only, in italics. That is the brilliance of Alistair McShirler. He has some intuitive perception which words to be translated into English. Because he realized, I think he knew why he should not translate that into an English word. Many others, at least two other things, they write dharana and then they will give their own interpretation or comprehension or perception. Both are actually not the required one. That you will know when you know the root meaning of the word, Sanskrit word dharana. Dhara. There is another word called dhara korya. That means when you pour water on your head, you are doing dhara of water with your head. Then there is a kind of an offering to the temples of Shiva especially, or Hanuman or whatever god that is doing dhara with milk, then dhara with ghee, then dhara with lime juice and certain kind of use. So that also is dhara, dharikya, dhara. Dhara. Dhara is the root word. Dhara also in another form is the word for planet Earth, Dharini. Why the name Dharini came to planet Earth? Because planet Earth contains everything. It is Dhariki, it is wearing all the things. It is actually wearing only, None of these things are inside the soil. So, by this you must go to, what is that level of attention which wear the cloth, which get engulfed by the thing being looked at, which get to the embrace of the thing being looked at. So you can look at a thing which will embrace you. That's why in the conventional ashrams and all that, they would give the deities form or picture or a mantra. Normally a picture, because it is facilitating, it is advantageous for the sense organ of eyes to see an object which is liked and looked at with esteem and wonder. So when our Meera, the Meerabai, when Meera talked about her getting completely possessed by Krishna, her attention was at that level. Or when Jesus focused his attention on the waves of the sea, it was like he transformed what he saw into a piece of solid substance which can contain the weight of his foot or his body. That we are coming to. Because we are already wearing that as a cloth of your attention. What is attention? It is an energy field. That attention which is in free journey with the dreams, Nitya. That attention which provides you the moment of truth, of an ecstasy of satori, or that attention which can cause frenzy and panic and put you into great troubles of actual physiological consequences. See a boy who is reluctantly on the stage, forced by the teacher, falling down unconscious by whatever we name as stage fright. What is the power of attention there? Attention to a mind setting of, let us say, doubt about his ability to sing before an audience puts him so much down that he falls down unconscious. It splashed water on the face. That's also the power of attention, see? So you have to wear the object which you are focusing attention upon. That's point number one. Point number two. Again a highly mistaken term. After dharana, that point number two or the step number two or the spoke number two is called dhyana. Dhyana, most of the people talk about it as meditation. No. It is also meditation. That's what most people do in the name of meditation actually. Or most people try to do, at least. What is dhyana according to Patanjali is when awareness flows evenly towards the point of attention, that is known as dhyana. See? when awareness of something, that is not said. When awareness flows evenly towards the point of attention, just awareness, or whatever that engine of your intellect by which you become aware of something, that has to flow. Because that is the meaning of the real, that is the meaning of the word dhyana, the way I look at it. Because dhyana is from the root Sanskrit word dhi. Dhi meaning a higher order reflective function of the intellect. Only in Indian Vedas, the power of intelligence is divided into 8 forms. I forgot all the names of that. In no other tradition. So dhi is one of the forms of intelligence according to the Upanishadic knowledge. Then buddhi is another word. Buddhi is different from dhi. Dhi is the ultimate power of reflection of the intellect actually. And dhyana, for me, dhyana is a short form for the ayana of dhi.
Exercising
like Rasayana or Dakshinayana or Uttarayana, ayana meaning that movement process. So when the dhi or that awareness is moving, awareness should move. That, in other words, the attention should be on the process of awareness also. One is complete.
Could you please simplify it? I am not able to understand.
What should I, sorry, Sarah?
Ayana of the bee. Ayana means?
Ayana, the root meaning is movement. Okay? Or process. Every process is a movement. The tea is not moving by locomotion, but inside tea is full of turbulent movement, okay? You know, the physics and chemistry of that movement. So ayana is word for movement. So there is a rasayanic perspective of human body. That is, there are so many rasas or liquids in the human body, like the engine oil or the petrol and diesel and all those liquids, the flow of which renders the automobile to function efficiently. Entire body is in constant process movements. So it requires some kind of an oil, some kind of a watery substance. So there are about 6 or 7 or 8 rasas in the body. Rasa meaning liquid. Liquid with a property is called a rasa. It is not exactly water. When the science says the human body is almost 70 to 72% is water, are we right, Vinay? Somewhat, yeah. It is not actual water that runs in the pipe. It is watery substance, fluid substance, that's all, fluids. Like blood is a fluid, lymphatic juice is a fluid, cerebrospinous fluid, then there is a fluid inside the vertebral canal, then there are other fluids of the enzymes and other things secreted into the alimentary canal. Then there is one fluid behind the lens of the eye and a form of that fluid or a conversion of that fluid in the front of the lens. Though both are the same, but they have different properties. So, rasayana, Sarah, is a requirement for the human body to function. Like the automobile engine, 2-stroke or 4-stroke engine, if there is no engine oil circulating, the engine will crack. Even in making our poriyal, what you call our melkuvarati, along with that piece of whatever, potato or whatever it is, you have to add some oil, otherwise it will get stuck onto the pan, yes. So, ayana of the dhi, that means the intellect should move towards that object, even if it is worn. So intellect should transform itself into that. That is called dhyana. Don't get confused about all these things because it is do not ever confuse it with something very mysterious, impossible, etc. Then you will be blocked. Just hear it, okay? Cool. That's what I have discovered. Be cool about it. Don't get panicky. People do not read higher order books because they get panicky. They become afraid of the conceptual flow and the gradation of that conceptual flow into great heights. So people who don't love to read great philosophers, great mystics, great of anything. In fact, every subject has its great levels, like a part, some quantum physics and all those things in physics or whatever chemistry, whatever biology, whatever, and all that is there. And even in music or dance or poetry, painting, filmmaking, everything there is a top. But the ultimate of top is philosophy. As I told you last time, philosophy has created all the precursors of all types of knowledge. The philosophers in alchemy, they only led to chemistry. Similarly. That's why, as I told you before, the topmost university degree is always called Doctor of Philosophy. Though the subject is chemistry or sociology or philosophy or mathematics or medicine. So that is dhyana. So dharana, then dhyana. Next is when these two processes are in its complete form, then suddenly that consciousness will become unbounded. That means it will go beyond the boundaries of the human body. Naturally, because your attention wears the object and your awareness, that for your consciousness is flowing evenly. Evenly meaning without any turbulence of doubt or anticipation or expectation or any motivation. Just like that of a little baby. When it goes to that object just becomes a trigger to get the consciousness liberated from the boundaries of the body. In fact, that's what happened to me at the age of 23 or 24. Not with exactly the same method. I have been always trying for something like that since my childhood. So one day I was just sitting, it happened. So that is not important. What happened was that when I was sitting like that, after about 5 to 10 minutes, I carefully managed my attention to the details of the present because of my experience before. And then, for example, a concept came to my mind about me is nothing but a transparent skin, okay, of apparently my shape, just floating in a 360-degree sea of reddish, orange, misty, liquid kind of substance. Not liquid actually, but almost very solid. Not solid, but like you see clouds from here. If you see the same thing near the clouds, something like that. So, dharana, dhyana, and this state they have named, I would say unfortunately, by the word samadhi, which is totally misunderstood by the world. Evidence is that they don't get anything. That's why I say though. So, apparently. And the photographs Richard Lenoir shows also implies the normal meaning of word samadhi. Samadhi is mostly referred to a death-like state. It is a word used about the death of some so-called great people. He has entered samadhi. Actually, no. They have used that word to talk about that. Or even Buddha entered the state of samadhi, and the picture Lenoir shows is something very mistaken and misleading, see?
It's not.
Actually, the complete picture is Buddha in the lying posture. It is in the Ellora caves. I have seen it personally. Okay? So, they have grossly misunderstood and there is a wrong campaign about samadhi. Okay, let it be samadhi. But in the very book of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. This is the word, this is the sentence, verse 3 of section 3. When that awareness or the essential nature of that awareness shining forth in purity, it becomes unbounded, and that is known as samadhi. See, there are so many corrupt, stupid concepts, purity and all that is very misleading. Don't worry about all this, okay? I just read out the
Sir,
sentence.
could you please repeat that, sir, what you just read?
When the essential nature of that awareness becomes unbounded, which as I explained a few minutes back,
Yes.
that state is called samadhi. Sama-adhi, samam meaning equivalent. Again, D. So when various functional differentiations of the D or the intellect becomes equally balanced, samam, that is called samadhi. Or that is what samadhi here, I am sure. This is not the samadhi of the death state or a sleeping state, no. Here, at the total preparation level of the engine, okay, like dhyana is a mixture of the ayana of thi, samadhi meaning the di, because that's the way Sanskrit syntax is. We cannot say di sama or ayana of dhya. So that is the unique syntax or what you call morpheme, we call structure of words. Am I right, Vinay? Yeah, morphology of words or the body structure of words. So we cannot say adi becomes sama, adi sama. So instead of that, it becomes more beautiful, samadhi. That means samam meaning equal in value or property or character or power. All the di becomes equally balanced in equilibrium. So this dharana, dhyana and samadhi, that three-dimensional process, okay, when you get control over the three-dimensional process in one stroke, that is called sanyama, S-A-N-Y-A-M-A, samyama. That name is given by Patanjali because it is to be referred to later. Therefore he has named it. Samyama. Samyama meaning all the normal variations and eccentricities of the attention and comprehension and the consciousness is under control. Yama meaning to control, to regulate, to suppress, to govern. Yama basically meaning to suppress. Or to reduce. Okay. Why we talked so much about all these things, so the power of samya, is because all subsequent steps are based, or in all subsequent steps of expansion requires samyama. That is why. When you read verse 5 of chapter 3, you will know. After all these explanations of sanyama, or what is the process setting of sanyama, which requires attention and or dharana, dhyana and samadhi, okay? Together, that three-pronged tool of attention, okay? Now, what is the fifth verse? When sanyama is mastered, okay, the highest or all the supreme knowledge dawned. That means then you can know any topic, anything about any entity, any phenomenon, any process in this universe, outside or inside.
It's 23
Not when
hours.
sanyama is mastered, when samyama is mastered, and when you apply that samyama and whatever be the topic, that will become clear. Get the point? Vinay? And he is also telling that Samyama, verse number 7, Samyama is the heart of yoga. What is yoga? Getting united with whatever you want to unite with. That's the meaning of yoga. Now, the mysterious part, which we talked about in the title of the session. This begins with verse number 21. I'll just read the English language. Sanyama on the form, F-O-R-M, form of the body makes it imperceptible to the observer. That means from samyama on the body, invisibility comes. Samyas comes, that's the English word they have used. Just imagine the power of sanyama and what is the process and what is the intent. And it is explained, when you apply sanyama on the body, you can break the contact between the eye of the observer and the light reflected by your body. Verse number 21, section 3, Patanjali Yoga Sutra. That means when you become capable of applying this three-pronged tool of sanyama on your own body, you can break, that's the English word they have used, the contact between the eye of the observer and the light reflected by the body. Very scientifically it is said. Everything becomes visible by the reflection of light, which they simply say in that statement, without any marvelous experiments and theories in physics. It is just a part of the sentence, see? So you can create a veil, you can disconnect. To frankly tell you, I have tried that also. But with only very partial success. And in order to test that, sometime in 1994, 95 I suppose, I got completely dressed like a female and walked through MG Road, Ernakulam, Kerala State, at around 10 o'clock night. Of course, there were not lot of people, but you remember the building of SCP, right? Valanjambalam. So coming out of that gate, then walking to the main bus road, then reaching another junction, then taking a right turn, and then it will reach MG Road. So in those two side roads, maximum I came across only 3 or 4 people. And when I reached it is not MG Road, it is near that famous hospital, Lissi Hospital, you know. A lot of people
is the medical trust.
Sorry, medical trust, exactly, sorry. There were a lot of people. I had a moment of doubt, but I walked very cool. I don't know how many people looked at me, but the only thing is you should not look at them. But I remember when 2 people came almost nearby me, crossed me, they had a moment of doubt. I suppose they turned back or anything. If you turn back, it is gone. There should be attention evenly flowing. Like an elephant comes, you stand before it cool, nothing will happen. A moment of doubt, it will hit you. A ferocious dog coming towards you barking, stand still like a little baby. It will not touch you. You should have the innocence or the purity of the mind setting of a baby. The moment you doubt, finished. Because the energy field becomes different. And then when I returned, okay, I reached that Riviburan road, and exactly in the junction there is a hotel on the opposite side, a small hotel. And two people were washing the ground, and they were moving backwards, to me, because they were sweeping the floor towards the front door. So they were opposite direction, and I was entering that road. But by the time I entered the junction, they stood up and turned this way. I don't know what they did. I just walked straight and entered the building. But I know at least 75 people saw me. And I had not made like, normal other thing. No. Completely, Nitya have seen me. Same figure. Tadi, all, everything. Everything. It is not like, it's only the ladies' dress. Sari, blouse, etc. Because, and of course, the identity of a human being is the face. Okay? That's why even transgenders are not accepted. Because the face expression is not neither female nor male. Mostly. That's why people have a problem. But my face is obviously very, very visible. And there, so there are only two street lights in Riviburan Road. Okay? One almost in front of SCP, the other one was in the junction, first junction, where you take a right turn and walk. In that road there was nobody, of course. And then we entered the main road near Medical Trust Hospital, which is flooded with light, because it's only 10 o'clock. And I was wearing an orange, chiffon sari. Very visible. And when I dressed like a female, it's a relatively huge body also. Unlike that of a normal female. So what I mean to say is that was my first real attempt to test. But after that, of course, I never did that. And I have no purpose beyond that. I just do that. I don't know, I am perfectly ma-farishu kadadana. Just to try whatever is possible. Like I tried more than 10-13 musical instruments. All of them I have performed, but all of them I have now gone beyond. I have tried writing poetry, writing short story, writing full one-act play of 45 minutes, then full-scale drama of 3 hours. Then I tried my hand with the film direction, prepared an entire script, shot even at least 30% of the film, and then changed subjects and gone beyond all these things, and So test the limits, or try expanding. What use if I know all these things? Direct use. But I think I am the only one, as far as I know, who can give a keynote address extempore to an international audience, not just careless talking. That talk itself can be straight away printed. That talk is in the YouTube. One talk given only for 10 minutes to a group of senior police officers, and another talk to again an international audience, including director and so many faculty members of the University of Southampton in England. A talk on mystic leadership. Not a single extra sentence or an extra word. In the best possible language, in the best possible organization. Point number 1, 2, 3, like that. And I never had to prepare for any session to be conducted before anybody in the world. So, this is not to talk about me. These are the consequences of the expansion. Now, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
None of this has anything to do with whatever I have done, straight away. Okay, in film direction, okay, my experience with the poetry, short story writing, drama writing and drama direction and all helped a lot, of course. And I spent thousands of hours just to understand the Chinese astrology system called I Ching. Thousands of hours for nothing. Of course, 1 year I lived by that money, That's a different story. 100 rupees for one question, Nitya. I lived for about 1+ year after CPA college. So that offers, in that way it helped me. But beyond that, that was way back in 1994 or so. After that I have referred to that 200, 300 times, only to reflect upon, only to expand not to expand by that intent of expansion, but just to know what more are hiding behind. So the word expansion is very generic. So you should try to know what Socrates wants to say in the language of Plato. Of course, Socrates never wrote any book. What Aristotle wants to say, what Sandayana wants to say, what Schopenhauer wants to say, what Friedrich Nietzsche wants to say, what Albert Camus wants to say, what Jean-Paul Sartre wants to say, what Rabindranath Tagore wants to say through Gitanjali, what Vivekananda is trying to say in his volumes of work. Just like that. There was one Father Arroyo, a real Spanish priest in Excelari, Jamshedpur, a great lover of mankind, of course all of them were, and he created little techniques to create a unique Excelari culture. One of that is to say just like that. You do any damn thing you want to, and if somebody asks you why do you do that, you just say just like that. And it was there for so many years. I don't know whether that culture is still there. Try wonderful things, just like that. Okay? Samyama on the form of the body makes it imperceptible, by breaking the contact between the eye of the observer and the light reflected by the body. Verse number 21. Chapter 3 of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Do you think such a genius would write a nonsense? And I think I have talked about this later. I would say as a resultant effect, wherever I go, I am very unnoticed, though I am very noticeable. With my weird form, not by my wonderful look. Which I have experienced so many times, especially when you, in the bus, the conductor never looks at you, in the train, the TTR never looks at you, they're like a don't care kind of a stupid guy, And more important than that is coming in another way. I go to so many shops, small grocery shop, okay? In front there is a wooden barrier, okay, behind which he is standing and on the barrier so many things. And there are 3, 4, 5 people and all the real local people now, okay, so-called poor people. And I am standing there behind with reasonably, maybe sometimes in jeans and shirt in the past, or once in a while in this kurta. This guy just does not look at me, the shop owner. I would say it has happened definitely less than 10 times, no doubt about that. And I am going and asking, give me a packet of cigarette or dal or mung dal or coconut oil or soap or anything. He just, even then he is giving it to that another guy there, Naveen. And finally 2, 3 are left and then I am standing alone. Then he almost never looks at me, or by that time I talk. And another thing is, again, the state-owned liquor shops here. Okay? And it is all kind of a shabby area, okay? There, in my locality, 98% of the queue comprises very so-called rural folks, okay? Very poorly dressed, dirty dress and dirty whatever. Okay? And there is no queue. Queue is never there. There is a small hall, okay? It's on the hand with a net, okay? and it is full of hands. After a while, I will also manage to put my hand with the currency in hand. And in between 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people get the thing and they go. And I am shouting, run dijiye, run dijiye. I mean, no, he just does not look at me or I don't get it. And before giving it to me, every time, some 1 or 2, 3 people would get it. And I wonder, at least I look, this way, Tamil Nadu is a culture where elderly people are looked at with some respect and all that, okay? No, at least he should see my face, with this white hair and all that. At least that percentage of regard he should give me. Anyway, I think these are the consequences of my attempt to become invisible to me. I become an unnoticeable kind of person. In airport, everywhere, I look at myself also a little bit of an eccentrically dressed person. Okay? So, in my hundreds of journeys to Delhi, Calcutta, Ranchi, Mumbai, Bangalore, etc., in the airport and all that, I never see notice anybody looking at me. Okay? So, these are all just pastime joke in between a serious session. Alright, samyama on the body, no, on the form of the body, F-O-R-M, form. This will come little later, because there is 3 differentiation: form, content and state, which we are coming later. So, you get the form of the human body, like children draw the human body. Okay? Because form only is visible outside. So, how do you have the 3-pronged engine of your attention? Dharana, dhyana and samadhi. You are wearing the object of your attention as almost like the cloth. That means your attention becomes almost transformed the way of the looked at thing. Like the water becomes almost the essence of the tea leaves. And how do you apply that tool of samyama on the form of the body? Okay. Then object of attention is your the form of your own body. Get the point there? Vinay, Sarah, all your creative analytic reflection is the form of your body a 2-dimensional drawing? No? It is what I said about me. It becomes a sack, just that sack of skin. No? In that shape. That is the form, form of your body. Like a craftsman, like a great sculptor, is gradually getting the form of that deity from out of the stone. And that form becomes the deity. Because the content and state, Vinay, of the deity is what? Stone. Content is the stone, property is the property of the stone. And here also comes laterally the ultimate sense in doing prayers and worship in a temple or a church or a mosque. I don't know about mosque. Okay? Because if this is possible with an object, if you can dharikal, if you can wear that form of the object onto your attention, and you can have the dhyana on that, or when all your intellect becomes evenly flowing towards that cloth which is inside you by that time, and if you become so complete in that process, when your consciousness become expanded beyond the boundaries of that physical body, by that time you become a master of sanyama. That's all. That's why you become sure that you have mastered Sanyama. Then take that Sanyama and apply on the form of your body, to make it imperceptible. But look at the other side. If you focus that kind of a Sanyama on the deity, or your so-called God or Lord or whoever, then you become that first, and you merge with that. This is what the conventional people say in the poem Nitya. The conventional gurus of India, sannyasis of India, surrender, they use the stupid words like surrender to the Lord, pray to the Lord and all. They are all ordinary majority language. This is the purpose. So if you focus that kind of a sanyamic attention on the picture of a deity in your puja room, or inside a temple, or wherever, you will become that deity, or you get the properties of that deity, which I don't think anybody really wants it. They all want to be blessed for some practical purpose of life. They don't want to become like the deity. I don't think so. Now, again, as our title of this today's session suggests, the mysterious intent by which you can direct your sanyama. Because this is a process, this is shanayu, this is cooking the cup of tea. So that you, the water, you, the component, you, the intender, everything become transformed. By every tea, the tea maker also gets transformed. The tea maker and the tea becomes one. Remember that dialogue, Nitya?
Yes.
There was only the tea, not the tea maker. Heard it before?
Of course.
Yeah. Now, verse number 24, from 21 to 24. The problem with every book is that, the attempt the writer makes in all his earnest sincerity to include some subsidiary points. Actually, I think they are the blocks. So I am thinking about writing my edited version of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which I think nobody has tried it. I have the confidence to delete at least 20 verses from this, which are irrelevant and irresponsibly blocking the very idea of the chapter 3. I want to tell this to Patanjali. Patanjali must be present even now, implied by his own language, which will come just later. So I want to tell Patanjali that some of the lines from this book, if you have written that, to be deleted forever. I am sure somebody else added this. Patanjali would not do this, I am sure. From why I said this is 21 is the verse which I read about making the body imperceptible. 22 is the one which I read some time back. The fruits of an action may return to the doer quickly or slowly. In between there is a so-called moral philosophy is introduced. And anyway, I will read the 23rd one also. From sanyama on friendliness, suddenly, compassion and happiness and related qualities blossom. It is about blossoming. What is the concept of blossom? A great lot of people are there with actual compassion and happiness. It is not because they did the sanyama on friendliness. Anyway, coming back to the central point of our mysterious intents possible with the human entity is, from sanyama on the strength of an elephant or other creatures, we gain their strength because we are derailing it. We are doing dhyana, our dhi is doing ayana, process on that. And our consciousness has gone out of the boundaries of our mental impressions and our personal history and embraced that reality being in the focus of attention. So that object can be an elephant also. Then there are some on 2-3 different items which we may discuss sometime later. One more thing I will talk about here because you can try that. It is good for your body. Samyama on the navel center brings all intuitive knowledge and wisdom about the body systems. See, navel center, very correct, where placenta connects with the embryo. Everything of the you in you has flown through that placental origin in the body, or that placental orbit. It's relatively easy, you can try that. I have tried it several times. All my knowledge about physiology is through that. I understand, I see every millisecond and every millimeter of the body. I have not read any physiology books, human physiology books, nothing. But of course I have referred to recently some of the internet diagrams and all that, so that I got some names to talk about them, basically to the trainees. Now I read, so what is that intent? Develop that intent correctly. And intent of your attention. For example, samyama on the elements of air, water, space, matter, and fire, okay? See, samyama on the water. Then the Taoistic mystics all talk about that. Even Tao itself is often referred to by the word, the water course. I think Fahian or Huansang got this idea from the Patanjali Sutra of India, and of course they created Tao conversion of that essence of that whatever they understood. And I think they got inspired about focusing their sanyama on water. And some of the Tibetan monks must have tried on sanyama on the air, so that they can fly from one mountain top to the other. For example, then by sanyama on the mass and the form and the content of the body, okay. And several steps are in between, like cooking a rasayana. Certain parts are to be made in the kashayam, some part into a powder, some part into a mixture, and then combine it. Similarly, there are 3-4 subsequent rockets to fire the satellite into the final orbit. Then you can shrink the body to the size of an atom. Anu is the word used. You can become as light as a cotton thread. I'm sure Jesus was able to do it. From samyama, you can materialize objects and causing them to disappear. Now you got how 5 loaves of bread made into 50,000 or 5,000. That means sanyama on the form, content and state of a thing. You can materialize objects. Materialize objects meaning from nothingness you can form objects on one side. And again, you can, by that, like you cut the observer's eyesight into our body, you can cut the observer's perception on other objects in the environment. That means you can make things disappear with your intent. Just imagine. What is the required internal process is the complex puzzle, little bit. Actually it is simple. That is my another logic. All these foundation things are very simple of the nature process. That's why we miss them by familiarity trap. If it was complex and huge thing, a lot of people would have got some understanding on that. I have put a Facebook post recently. When you discover your whatever, your true self, you will be surprised. Sentence 1. Sentence 2, you will also realize that you have been fooled. 2 sentences. You are all fooled. Not exactly. You are all not properly inducted into the possibilities. Every child is an enlightened entity in tune with the mass and content and form of the universe. Every 1-year-old, 1.5-year-old, 2-year-old, 2.5-year, 3 to 3.5 to 4 to 4.5, they can see many things in the atmosphere. If properly managed, they will interact with them and they will talk about them to us.
It is kind of mentioned in that autobiography of a yogi book as well.
Sometime in the past, psychology, some psychologists somehow realized it and they did a lot of research on children. But their research is always mechanical but systematic. So they discovered that children see many things. By their reporting, by proper interviewing them, they got to realize. And these things were studied and reported in articles named eidetic imagery, E-I-D-E-T-I-C, eidetic imagery. Children are capable, they came out with mechanical explanations, nevertheless, eidetic imagery. So they assumed that children see only images. That's what an adult can assume. That is true also, because it is matterless object. It is at a dreaming level. Those entities have already cut the observer's sensitivity to them. All sensitivities. Amaya used to see, everything in my life is a research. I have done a lot of research on Mantra and Amaya. Of course, they have a little bit of damages. Anyway, he is telling yes in the sleep. So, I have followed him very carefully, especially in the backside of the CP building, Nitya. Often there he used to see things and he used to interact with them. And then most of the words he himself used to create. And he said, I see Dingta. That's the word he used, Dingta. Written in English letter, D-H-I-N-G-D-H-A. Or T-H-I-N-G-T-H-A. That is, the pronunciation was in between ta and da. But he could not answer to most of my questions because he did not have a language to talk about that, you see. What a child can talk is only the form part. And that is all there. What more? See, In the point, Vinay, Navin, Vinay, Nitya, they only see the form like they see the mother form. So they can talk only about that form. And he used to talk to that in some funny sounds. And he used to dance with that for during several nights in the central room. With a special mysterious steps, somewhat like the African tribes. And 10 minutes, 15 minutes, he would just dance in the central portion, and throughout the dance there is only one set of sounds. It was like this: Bakkumbayar Gumba, Bakkumbayar Gumba, Bakkumbayar Gumba, Bakkumbayar Gumba. Go on saying this and jumping and moving in round. Many times I had a tough time of controlling my anxiety and fear, and most of the time I stopped it. Because when we come across this kind of mysterious phenomenon, though we appreciate and though we want to get into that, there's a stupid fear and tension. That is a bloody fear. I have experienced it so many times. It is not fear of death or fear of wild elephant or anything like that. Fear is the word closer to report to the general nature of that phenomenon. It is not at all pleasant, no doubt about it. So what I mean to say is that, they are all there. That's why some people say Jesus is there. I have no doubt the so-called Jesus, known as Jesus Christ, is still existing 99%. 1% is the form and state and content that he can adopt any time. Because Samyama would enable you to enter into the body of another, not only human being, even of a bird, which reportedly our Shankaracharya has done. Okay, Adi Shankaran or Shankaran has done. The Shankaracharya novel is very misleading. Because that itself creates the first perception block for his, even including his earnest disciple.
So, do they use all these powers in the stories that you hear about in times of old to even do bad things like evil and
Now once again, Christabel.
like to, you said that you just said something about entering another creature's body or something like
you are asking, by entering into another creature's body, will it do any bad things?
No, people can use it as much for evil as for good.
Evil?
To do bad things, as can you use that gift as a...
That is the question. That's a beautiful question which I have also pondered upon. But it is very unlikely that that level of CS would do any evil. Very unlikely. Then secondly, what is evil? They might perhaps annihilate or directly kill somebody, perhaps. That straight confronted killing is not an evil. There is a cause, maybe a quarrel, maybe a struggle, maybe a dislike or maybe a hatred, etc. etc. But evil is putting somebody into continuous sufferings and problems and needless turmoils in life. If that is evil, like most of the current day leaders are ending up doing in little bit of way, this way or the other way, actually, or the militaries and the various national heads are actually putting it like Russia is doing in Ukraine or China wants to do with India and so on and so forth. Absolutely it is impossible because the attention has gone unbounded first itself, Christabel.
Yes,
Remember,
yes.
dharana, dhyana and samadhi. Samadhi. the becomes even equilibrium. Okay? That means that the the or the intellect is the last room where the ego, your personal identity is sustained. Okay? And when that is also broken, or that becomes like receiving the property of an invisible cell membrane, okay, then the, none of the normal objects of attention and idea prevalent in the normal human world, they are all absolutely irrelevant, Christopher. I don't think so.
Yes,
They cannot. They have seen the great heights, like you don't even hit a drunken person because he is senseless. Even normal people. So if normal people have that basic sensitivity to do something stupid, what about this level of CS? Okay. But somebody must have realized it, I suppose. Anyway, whether somebody realized or not, I am very sure Jesus still exists because by evidences of what he has done, he is capable of that level of samyama. And also it is told that some 10 years he was absent in his place and he came to when the rishis of the Himalayas, and that story also is there. There must be some fact also, whether story or not, whether he got it from some gurus or not, that is actually not that important. He was capable of samyama on elements and objects and people. But at the same time there is a question, evil, not capable of even good deeds also, sometimes, Krishna. Okay? If Jesus was capable of samyama, he could have simply annihilated all those who were against him. No, he did not do that. Though he happened to chastise some people in some contest, as I heard. He could have easily finished them, no doubt about that. Like, what about Jesus? Look at Socrates, about whom there are clear historical records. He was almost like Jesus in the sense that the entire public, critical public became against him and they charged him with heresy or putting young people into confusion and all that, and they got the king agreed to make him killed, punishment by death. Socrates was jailed and the method of killing was by giving a poisonous liquid of plant
Hemlock.
called
Hemlock.
hemlock, correct. And the king had arranged. The king was always, as usual, very brilliant, He had to go by the public opinion, but he realized that Socrates was a super whatever, and he arranged all his escape, everything. And sent his own, because the king doubted whether he would believe it, he arranged to send a close friend of Socrates, Crito, to the jail to convince him that he should not accept the poison. He said, I am ready to die. And he pacified the person who brought the hemlock poison and got it from him and drank and of course died. See, he could have escaped. I said this in the same way that Jesus could have finished all his enemies, no doubt about that. So this is in the context of your question whether they will be capable of doing any evil. For them, in that sense, nothing exists. Everything is a passing phenomenon of energy, transformation only. Then what is the point? By killing those people, nothing is going to be achieved finally. After something, again evil people will come. See, because generations are changing. Generations are changing and normal distribution kind of people enter into the sexual activity. So always there will be 30 to 40% of so-called evil gunas, not by their defect. That's why they are made. Like we don't have to be very proud that we are good people. We happen to be good, that's all. We are good not because one day we took an oath before an audience that we are going to be good. Well, the same way the so-called evil people or the criminals or the bandits or the unethical people or unethical whore, they have not taken a choice that I am going to be evil. No, I don't think so. Never. That's why their form, content and state have been created in the womb. Okay? With what care and attention a man enters into the body of a woman, we know. Unless it is little bit trained by, disciplined by whatever learning. So, first of all, master your samyama. That means, to begin with the first step on the pedal of the cycle of sanyama, by developing dharana, vehicle, the object, you wear it, and choose such an object straight away or in your visualization. Sustain that object. To sustain that object in visualization is little bit tough. So better keep an object like that in front, in dim light. When you try, I don't want you to try this, but to mention this. Because if you try, you got to go the full scale. Otherwise, don't try. But to know about this, there may come a time when you will recall this and do it. I am very sure about that. But don't do it nowadays. No. And then gradually release your attention. Now be more and more relaxed in your mind and be that process of the attention, and then then that consciousness will flow. Then you will know that consciousness is also filled with that external cloth. You become the cloth and sustain that. And then after some time your body consciousness will vanish. Don't worry, nothing will happen. I told you, I have experienced it. Don't worry about that. You will not be lost. This I have told you many times because I have realized that many people, though they are ardently desiring to have this process, at the core they have a fear about it. Main fear is that they will become, by their own choice, get abandoned from society. That's the models available in India. They love their children, they love their wife. I have interviewed only males. So I know they all have great concern whether love or not there. They are definitely feeling responsible to the wife and children. And they are worried whether they will become detached from them. No. This is the error committed by the so-called sannyasis of India. I am openly telling, including Vivekananda and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Ramana Maharshi and Osho and J. Krishnamurti and all these people, I don't remember all the names. I will put this in the YouTube. They have all misled the population by talking about Sarvanandamaya in 24 hours, all kinds of nonsense, with the good intention of attracting the attention of normal people. And extraordinarily sensitive people, I am sure they will not fall prey to that, I am sure. But in the corner of your mind, that information also is there, though you may not believe it. But no doubt you will become a little bit eccentric in the sense of other people. you will not be definitely able to enjoy interacting with people whom you intuitively know as unsuitable for you by energy. Everybody is an energy field, okay? And therefore interaction may be restricted and which may invite certain consequences in the workplace, maybe, or in the social setting, and so on and so forth. You will not be interested in talking the topics which the majority of people talk, which can include even your CEO. I have noticed even CEOs and top level people talk ordinary bullshit language when they are really free, including vulgar language. Okay. So anyway, coming to the points, don't worry about that. It may sometimes, sorry to say that, lead to situations where you may decide to stop what you are doing also. uh, that you have to be a little bit careful. But so long as when I have been having the companionship of a woman and a child or whatever, I have been 100% responsible. I did everything, I am sure. I have done everything better than the great majority of people they refer to in terms of conflict. But they can always sense, they may get afraid. They always doubt whether you are completely under their custody. Like you are in love with some females, the wives cannot tolerate. The wives may be always under suspicion or a doubt that he is not all the time with me. That is, in a way, a fact also, but by which what they are afraid of, irresponsible behavior will never happen. No doubt about that. 100%. You will be able to see much more realities of their requirements than many other people. But still, that's why most of the time the geniuses are all abandoned by their wives, They simply feel that he is not with her. Actually, it is not true. Because he is all the time in the laboratory, all the time in the workplace, all the time reading or writing something and things like that. If he just goes outside and moves in some clubs, they have no problem. Okay? If you go around talking politics with other people in their neighborhood houses or offices or so-called clubs, they have no complaint. But if you sit at home and reading a story of philosophy, they will have a problem. And when we talk about this, if the wife does it, husbands also are likely to have that problem. Because attention goes there, It is like the wife has fallen in love with somebody else like that. So that is a perception problem. That is their problem, but it can occur. But that's why I am telling you all these things. You have to tell them openly that I am sorry to tell you I am really in the track of a genius, which they may not accept. Because their concept of genius, they have to undergo this kind of a program to know genius is not in the fame, name, recognition. That they don't know. A great majority of people in the world, including creativity researchers, do not know that. So nothing remains unknown to who has mastered Sanjama. With this, when you master your Sanjama and when it happens to focus on your own self, Why this happens is because the feeling of I-ness will be reduced or vanished. You know? That is why. That's why I told you not to try it necessarily now. Nothing wrong about it. But as I told you, when you climb the heights, your linkage with the ground will be subtle or minimal. That's why you should develop the language and the perception or the patience to explain the truth to them. So for actual this kind of practice, the Western culture is very conducive. And the very land of India where all this developed originally, in that very land, the social familial system are against it. See, Naveen? So master your dharana, dhyana and samadhi. And apply it to your work, apply it in yourself, and apply it in doing the miracles with other people. Make them see the truth. Alright, Nitya, Arjun, Naveen and Vinay.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Nice.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.